Look, let's talk later, when there's not things trying to kill us nearby. Can't this wait? There's things trying to kill us nearby. Keep your voice down. This isn't the time to talk. All right, go on and ask. Well, when I was younger, my mother wanted me to join the temple. But she grew sick, and I had to help her out in the farm, and, well, she never got better. I still remember a bit about the healing arts, and I've certainly been doing enough praying recently. I thought it might be time to follow my faith. With all the trouble we get into, I'm going to need it. Ammon Jerro was my great-grandfather. Or my great-great-grandfather. To be honest, I can't remember which. I heard he was a little eccentric, but harmless. He died a long time ago. Well, I thought it was just a story. You know, make-believe. And wizards do protect their towers. I thought she was just exaggerating. I mean, the whole inescapable death trap and thousands of spiders from the abyss thing. It was hard to take my mother seriously when she said things like that. I've been thinking about it, but honestly, I have no idea where it is. I doubt it would help much anyway. And the whole idea of having to spill my blood to get in there, well, I'm not in any real hurry to find it either. Yeah, probably. Why don't you use your blood? You sure spill enough of it wherever you go. I don't really want to get bled, you know, especially not so we can go into a death trap where I can get even more blood spilled. And a whole pint of it. That's a little much. His hearing's a little too sharp. Still, Mother was pretty insistent on the blood part. Well, I didn't realize he was still alive. That just seems... It is impossible! I mean, how old would he be now? I know sorcerers can live a long time, but I never had anyone in my family live that long. And how come he never tried to find us? When Mother was sick, and when the farm went through the bad season, all of this, it just makes no sense. Yeah? Something wrong? What? Did I do something wrong? Oh, hey, what's going on? What? What are we stopping for? I don't see how you can be so calm about all this. You could be hanged, or worse, in Luskan. I mean, low justice in Luskan? It's really bad. Although it's not enough for anyone who attacked Ember as far as I'm concerned. You really don't have much of a heart, do you? Maybe it would be better if they found you guilty. Still, I wouldn't wish Luskan justice on anyone, even you. I traveled there last season. The thought that everyone there is dead, it's hard to believe. A few, one or two I knew really well. The quartermaster was always kind to me, although he was a little too obsessed with his logbook. Had to track every shipment in, out, along the coast, off the coast. But still, a nice person. There was Elaine, of course. She let me stay in her family's home when the roads were washed out while I was there. You know, she did quite a bit of trading herself between Ember and Port Last and the neighboring villages. I wonder if she was in Ember when it was attacked. For a few years. She let me stay in her family's home one season while the roads to Port Last were washed out. To see her like that. It must have been horrible to see that happen to your village. We could check in Port Last. If she was on a trade run, she may have passed through there. The steward of Port Last, Hieromus, might know more. I think checking in Port Last is probably the best thing we can do. It's the nearest town. Someone there may know something or heard something. The steward of Port Last, Hieromus, is probably one of the people we should definitely see. Although, if he thinks you're the killer, don't expect a warm reception. Aside from Hieromus, though, I don't know anyone specifically. We should probably search around, talk to whoever else we can. Yes, at least to hear my mother tell it. She said it was to help us hide in the case of an attack. As unsafe as Highcliffe was when you went through it, apparently it was even more dangerous during Ammon's time. There were a lot of wars and battles there. The castle ruins outside Highcliffe were apparently destroyed then as well, so I guess an escape tunnel was a pretty wise thing to build. My mother told me that he saw me a few times as a babe, but I was too young to remember. Mother said that he would cradle me and sing to me, and I would, well, pull out his beard hairs. Mother said he died long before I was born. She said that Jerro would cradle her and sing to her, and she would, pull out his beard hairs. Actually, well, I did go to temple for a few years, but with Mother, I never really finished. Not really. I mean, I healed some of the pigs when they got sick or mended a broken plow, but I can't raise the dead or say holy words or anything like that. I always did miss the scriptures, though. It helped things, well, make sense. No, because even though I tend the land, it doesn't feel the same. I guess your friend Eleni would know the difference if you asked her. It's like she's given herself to the land. Me? I just try to make things grow out of it, even when it's stubborn. It's hard to explain. And I sure can't talk to animals like you two do. Now that's something that would be helpful. Even if the birds and chickens are half as stupid as they seem to be. And I sure can't talk to animals like she does. Now that's something that would be helpful. Even if the birds and chickens are half as stupid as they seem to be. Yeah, Mother got ill. And I had to spend most of my time making sure she was taken care of. And then there was the farm to take care of. And I sort of lost touch with it all, I guess. Except for tiny miracles here and there, only the pigs really noticed. And that lasted only a heartbeat before they started grunting to have their troughs filled. Anyway, now that I don't really have a farm left, I guess I'm free enough to follow you around and learn how to heal people properly. In Bishop's case, healing him isn't much of a change from tending the pigs, trust me. Anyway, now that I don't really have a farm left, I guess I'm free enough to follow you around and learn how to heal people properly. At least when Cassavir isn't doing it first. You have purpose. And, well, Bishop doesn't. That's his whole thing. He drifts, uses people, and moves on. You used to see that type pass through Highcliffe all the time. Why is Cassavir following you anyway? He looks so depressed all the time. I thought paladins were supposed to be more, have more faith than he seems to have. This may be because I went to temple, but sometimes you can sort of see someone's faith or convictions. And Cassavir's, they're sort of slowly bleeding out of him. I don't know what happened, but it's not good. No, I didn't. I had to take care of my mother, and, the answer is no, I didn't. There's nothing really to talk about. I don't even know why we're talking about this anyway. Highcliffe has nothing to do with this. No, I didn't do any healing for the people of Highcliffe. It's because, this isn't easy for me to say. Trying to heal my mother. It didn't work, and she suffered a lot before she died. It's made it a little hard to do the same for others. If I healed someone, and it didn't work, I really don't think I could take it again, you know? Well, you all seem like you can take care of yourselves. I'm not sure you even need me as much as you humor me. All right, look, here's what I mean. There's another reason why I left the temple. It's because of the people. The people who came to speak to the priests. Have you ever seen people come to worship? They think you know things you don't. That because you can make little blessings, that somehow you see the past and present and everything under the fair and moons and can make sense of it all for them. It did. And you don't have the answers. And you don't know what to do if they're hurting badly. And it's not something you can heal with a spell or a prayer. I didn't say I didn't want to help them. I just had other responsibilities, like my farm. What are you saying? That I don't like watching out for others? Gods, you are self-righteous, aren't you? I take care of myself. I do what any one person can to make a living. I don't believe that at all. You may think you can do that, but you can't. How dare you lecture me on what I should do when you don't even know anything about the people around you? The people whose lives you cross on a day-to-day basis. Is it? What? Are you going to give me a lecture on having to take care of my mother and my farm? You don't know anything about it. Look, I'm done with this and with you. Leave me alone. Look, I'm sorry I got mad before. It's just that sometimes I don't think you understand being a farmer out in the middle of nowhere and what that means. Or growing up alone. What do you mean? Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm betting you grew up in a huge city somewhere, probably north of here, like Waterdeep. Anyway, I didn't mean to get angry before. There wasn't any call for it. All right then, fresh start. Still, I'm sorry, but thanks for not lording it over me. Oh, forget it. See if I ever apologize to you again. There's not much to tell. To be honest, my mother died many years ago. Bad marsh fever. Not much I could do. As for my father, I didn't really know him. Died when I was very young. He's more like a blur than a memory. What about you? If you want to talk about it. Yeah, if you want to talk about it. Your father, or your uncle, he seems very nice. Duncan seems nice enough. Be great to have kin who ran a tavern in my family. Well, aside from my spellcasting ancestors who carved escape tunnels beneath my farm, maybe Duncan may know something about your family if you asked. I mean, if any of my kin lived, I'd have a quiver full of questions for them. Yeah, I'd do that. One day he may not be around, and you'll have lost the chance. I still think of questions I wished I'd asked my mother. Distant? Why? I was wondering, who trained you to be a hero? Who was your teacher? Doesn't your father know anything about her? It seems like he would. Well, maybe a little. But not much, so don't let it go to your head. Yeah, I was. I mean, if you died, I'd lose my teacher. Then where would I be? Oh, I won't worry about you. In fact, forget I said anything. Well, it's no big deal. I wasn't looking out for you or anything. I was just thinking about it a lot. And worrying. Anyway, just forget I said anything. And remind me not to say anything in front of Grobnar again. Not much more to tell than what I've said. What about you? Did you find out anything more? He was? He looked like he'd been a tavern keeper for, well, forever. Huh. He seems so down to earth to be an adventurer. No offense. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. You didn't have to. But knowing you actually have family and knowing what they do, well, that's important, I think. Well, you might want to ask why you still have the chance. He may have his reasons, and if he were to pass away suddenly, you'd never know. You mean your mother? What happened? I mean, if you want to talk about it. Don't mean to pry like a town gossip or anything. That's terrible. I really don't know what to say. She must have loved you very much. I didn't realize what you'd been through. That you lost your mother. It's kind of strange. The way you carry yourself, it doesn't seem like you'd ever suffered any loss. Then I hear about this. Anyway, I'm sorry to hear it. What does Dagon say about your mother? Did he know her? She was an adventurer too? I guess it's in the blood. Do you know anything else about her? What was her name? I see. And your real father, was he an adventurer too? That must be frustrating. I regret never having known my father, but I didn't really have a choice. Thanks for sharing, by the way. You didn't have to. But it's good to hear you talk about where you came from rather than just bark about where we should go all the time. Well, aside from the frequent kidnapping, yes, I suppose I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. But don't worry. I'll try to keep up. So don't trouble yourself, all right? I'm still sorry about West Harbor. Are you all right? I know we talked a little, but I just walked around thinking about what would have happened if Highcliffe was suddenly destroyed like that. Just gone. I mean, Junie, William, and even Elder Maine. If they were all suddenly snuffed out, like they'd never been. I guess not, but it still worries me. I guess you're right. It makes me wonder how much damage we're causing just by walking around. You're right. You did save Highcliffe after all, and it didn't take an army to do it. Forget it then. Maybe it's good you didn't stay in Highcliffe too long before you turned it into another ember. Gods, you're a pain. Forget it then. Let's keep moving, shall we? Okay, see, that's where you start to lose me. Why is this thing inside you? And why is it broken? And what are you supposed to do with it? Kill a dragon or... And the King of Shadows is who? Like Elminster, except evil? Like a golem? But you're willing to keep trying to find out? But one of those shards is in your chest. If it comes out, you're dead. So what are you going to do about all this exactly? You mean this Black Garius? He's also helping the King of Shadows, right? You mean like Black Garius trying to kill you? Before you took care of him, right? Well, I'm glad you think so. But thanks. I appreciate the support. Just taking a cue from you. You do nothing but ask questions to everyone we meet. Don't worry, I noticed. Shouldn't we deal with our enemies first? Let's get them! For Highcliffe! Not again. Time to put these weapons to some use. I need some healing. I need some help over here. Looks like we have company. We really need to get out of here. Come on, a little girl like me got you scared? I need some guarding, if you don't mind. Stop. We need to hold on for a sec. Ha! Ah! 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 Oh! Oh! Losing blood. Not going to make it. I can't stand any longer. I've been poisoned. That spell failed. My weapons aren't doing anything. Follow me, everyone. Grab a buddy and let's head out. Over here. I found something. Everyone gather up. Could you move, please? This lock's being troublesome. Search the area. There might be secrets nearby. I think we should all stay hidden and lay low. I think I can do that. I really don't think I can do that. All done. I can't move carrying all this junk. Something you want? Greetings. Yes. No. Can we stop for a moment? Can we rest? My feet are killing me. Is this really what adventuring is like? I'll see you later then. Thanks. I appreciate it. Troll-kissing orc? Yes! Hey, I need to talk to you. Good idea. I really don't think we should do that. I may be new to this, but your adventuring career is almost over. Of course I was. Did you see that guy? He was huge. I mean, look, you're a big hero and everything, but that monster would have made an Umber Hulk think twice about attacking. Back again? What do you want now? Who are you? Did Maine send you? Guess it would have been too much to expect for the Elder to send help. Good. Glad to see the Elder finally got wise enough to protect the grain shipments into Highcliff before winter hits. I've been alone out here ever since the others abandoned their farms and took shelter in Highcliff, and I don't know how much longer I can hold out. There were a few early on, but none lately. Most of the farms have been abandoned before the lizard folk attack. No one wants to be there when they strike. Not yet, but it's only a matter of time. No, I don't think so. He was going into the woods around here. If he was going to the castle, he was taking the long way around. Not much more to tell, but if you want to help, let me just mark the ruins on your map. Why do you have that strange look on your face? Oh, right. Speaking of which, I better get back to keeping watch before... So am I. Anything else? I have work to do. I marked it on your map, so why don't you look at it instead of asking me? William? Yeah, he ran through here into the woods, probably being hounded by lizard folk just like I was. No. He was actually heading into the woods. If he was going into the castle, he was taking the long way around. Look, some of us aren't sellswords or mercenaries or whatever. Able to drift from town to town for a few coins, some of us have to make a living off the land we're given. So if you're here to deal with lizard folk, fine, do it. If not, leave me alone because there's no work for you here, all right? Really? Well, thanks for telling me that. Feel better? Before... My barn! And the harvest! I let down my guard for a second and they were waiting for it. Waiting until I got distracted. And maybe you should go to the Hells. What, you think it was any safer there? Ask a few sailors in town if they agree. And I'll be safe in Highcliff? Where no ship can leave because the lizard folk are destroying them? This farm is all I have. And now that my harvest is gone and with winter coming, not for years, some of the children from the village said there's tunnels beneath the keep. You can find an entrance near one of the ruined towers. What? Why? What's going on behind me? What? Where did they come from? You really must be new to Highcliff. The village is practically under siege by lizard folk. I'm supposed to be making the merchant run through Port Last and Ember right now. But with the recent troubles, I can't leave the farm, let alone take the trade road from Highcliff. No. But it must be someplace close by. At first, I thought their lair would be close to the water, but now I'm not so sure, and I wonder if they've set up a camp just for attacking the outlying farms. I doubt it's their main lair. It's too far from water, but I've seen fires up at the old ruins. It's only been in the past few days, though, which is strange since the lizard folk were attacking long before that. Well, I'm not here by choice. You're right about that. And if it came to that, I wouldn't. As much as I love this place, I can't even move my harvest into town. And if I can't sell it, I won't make it through the year, not to mention the town's counting on the trade. I have friends in Ember and Port Last expecting shipments this season. It's worse than that. I don't know if it's more lizard folk, but no one's come back along that road for a while now. Merchants who take it just vanish, wagons and all. It happens so suddenly and quietly, and the bodies are never found. If you take the road, it's the last journey you'll make. The whole village, and even as far south as Fort Locke, is being cut off. If it keeps up, we'll starve, or worse. Well, no one's been killed yet that I've seen. Just a lot of farms burned and grain destroyed or stolen. Fine. I think the lizard folk are striking from the ruins nearby. It's probably not their main lair, but it might be a staging camp. It's like something's going on up there. I haven't been able to leave the farm long enough to tell anyone. I guess I was counting on the Elder to actually send help. The ruins up there are of Highcliff Castle, destroyed in a war some time ago. Lots of magic was thrown around, even talk that demons and devils were summoned and fought each other. I don't know. If they are up there, it may end up causing trouble for them and us. And there's more than lizard folk troubles nowadays. At least from the tales coming from the southern road. Don't know if you've heard. There's been sightings of forms walking in graveyards, strange shadows. Some of it could be just local drunks talking, sure, but I've heard tales from merchants as far south as Fort Locke. Plenty, but no marked ones. So many battles were fought here. If the dead decided to walk, there'd be an army in no time. That huge gravesite near Fort Locke, that's one of the smaller ones from the war. Well, yes. I suspect there's a reason that place was never rebuilt. It's always had a strange history. Everyone in Highcliffe knows to leave it alone. But aside from seeing the fires up there, I haven't wanted to risk leaving the farm long enough to investigate. All right, here you go. But be careful if you go up there. You might end up stirring up more trouble for the village than helping. Look, if you're going to help, do it. I'm so tired of Neverwinter and Fort Locke and the militia and the Elder and all of them promising to help us out and nothing ever happening. Just once. Just this once. If you can actually do something for Highcliffe, for the farmers here, it'd be long past due. A dark elf. Did Maine send you? Because if you're here to rob me, there's nothing to steal. So you might as well head back down to the Underdark or back wherever it is you came from. A dark dwarf? Did Maine send you? You're a strange-looking gnome. Did Maine send you? A tiefling. 2 of them? Did Maine send you? I'm getting so tired of this. You have to let me save you sometime or else I'll never be able to pay you back. All right, I agreed to let you bring me here. Now I want some answers. What happened at my farm? Who were those creatures, and why were they after me? You. How dare you call me that? I should never have trusted you. What could I possibly know that would be important? I lived on that farm all my life. Did they want to learn how to milk cows? Ammon Jerro? He was my grandfather. Or my great-grandfather. Or was it my great-great-grandfather? I have no memory of meeting him, but my mother told me that he saw me a few times as a babe. But I was too young to remember. My mother told me about the Haven when I was a child. I thought it was just a tale she used to make me do my chores on time. She always threatened to lock me in there if I wasn't a good girl. Or something like that. I think she was exaggerating. Perhaps it is just childhood stories, but even if I knew where the Haven was, it's the last place I'd want to go. I have no idea where it is. Knowing its location wouldn't help you much anyway. She also said getting into the Haven requires a pint of fresh blood. And not just any blood will do. It has to be Jerro blood. Wait, is that why you rescued me? So you could bleed me? If you think I'm going to let you drag me into some dark dungeon I used to have nightmares about, think again. Well, if you think you stand a chance of doing it, go ahead and try. See, you brought me to a public tavern in the middle of a city filled with guards who are only a scream away. You make one move and you'll be locked up so deep you'll have to dig your way to where you're going. Oh, well then, I'm glad you understand. That's a little more than I was expecting, actually. No, no, and no! I've been put in enough danger over the past few days to last an entire life. You know, I never thought of it that way. You may be right. Look, I can barely think, let alone stand. I really need rest. We can talk about this tomorrow. Fine, oh grand interrogator. How may Shandra, a simple farmer, enlighten a fool such as you? Calm down? Calm down? You try being calm when your farm is attacked by monsters and burnt to the ground. Well, that's more like it. Keep it up and I may forgive you for what happened to my farm. Maybe. Right. So who are these Githyank, whatever they are, and why were they trying to kill me? All right, so you tracked me down because... Why? I'm a Jerro? So you're looking for this haven of his. And yes, I know where it is, I think. It's trapped. And you'll need me to get in. My mother said something about a path you have to walk to get to it. Like a series of challenges, but I don't remember what they are.
Dalrin. Lord Dalrin now, I hear.
Who's there?
Come now. You remember? Has it really been so long? Delayed, perhaps. My imprisonment was most distressing. But dead? Now how could I die with so much left unfinished? And there is so much more left to do. Ah, reinforcements. I am afraid you are too late to save this one. And if it is the shard you're after, I am afraid I have that as well. It seems to me all you have left is your life, but that is easily corrected. So the town remains. Let us see if what I seek is here as well. You, answer me. How was this done? You see plots within plots. I command you, answer me. Return to the circle. It binds you, and through it I command you. Stay! I am your master, your lord! Intruders, unbidden and unwelcome. Are you prepared to pay the price? You. How you entered this place is a mystery, but it was a mistake. One which will soon be. Kill me now, and this place will collapse, and we will all die. In my blindness, I have done a great wrong. Perhaps it is not too late to rectify it. And where one was lost, I still might save you all. Only a fraction of power remains in my haven, but it will be enough to take us from this place. Is revenge what lies behind your words? Do you think I do not know that? Yet even knowing our conflicts, what could happen? You chose to bring her here. No, there is one more Jerro, the one who still stands before you. But stay your weapons, your spells, lest this tragedy give birth to another. Just a girl, and the last of my line. But stay your weapons, your spells, lest this tragedy give birth to another. Not now! Our enemies surround us! He is drawing his power from the statues! We must destroy the statues now! Use the powers of the ritual of purification to counter his attacks! Hurry! Attack the King of Shadows! Hit him with everything you have! The manifestations can more easily be dispatched if we trap them in the web. Our attacks are having little effect. Try using the ritual powers on him. The King of Shadows is weakening. Press the attack! He cannot hold out much longer! There are still statues remaining to empower the King of Shadows! Destroy them! Quickly! One of the statues has cleared! Keep fighting until all the manifestations are gone! Attack the portal with the silver sword! It may be the only thing that can destroy it! Use your powers from the ritual! If anything can stop him, they can. Let us kill our adversaries, then we may speak. Shouldn't we deal with our enemies first? Yes. Something troubles you? No doubt, I did. But before I could reach the other statues, the Shadow Reaver arrived, and even with my allies, I could not stand against him. Now each of us bears the necessary pieces of the ritual, and together we are the only ones who can harm him. Like it or not, we need each other if we are to succeed. If the Githzerai did not already explain, the ritual is designed to unmake the Ilfarn Guardian, which the King of Shadows once was, and still is in part. But the Guardian is a shell, a vessel for what the King of Shadows has become. When it drew life from the Shadow Weave long ago, it became something else, something greater. Still its outer skin is that of the Guardian. We must break that armor first, and once shattered, then we may strike at his essence. We must do it within the King of Shadows' fortress, as near to his heart as possible. Within the Mare of Dead Men, or the Merdelaine as the Druidess calls it. There is where we must go. Yes, I know. I do not know how to defeat such a shield yet, but we must find a way. To do that will require the Sword of Gith, which you carry with you. The silver swords of the Githyanki are the only weapons I have seen that have harmed the King of Shadows, and the Sword of Gith is the mightiest of such weapons. No, I do not know. Greater than nothing, I suspect, but it is a chance we must take. No, but it is something we must discover, and soon. I do not believe reforging the sword will require all the shards, but as I have never done such a thing, I do not know for certain. The Githzerai who travels with us may know more. In that she may have some use. No, but it is something we must discover, and soon. I do not believe reforging the sword will require all the shards, but as I have never done such a thing, I do not know for certain. The Githzerai who travels with us may know more. In that she may have some use. The shards, including the one lodged within you, are part of the Sword of Gith. Its history is a tiresome one. Ask the Githzerai if you would know more. She could no doubt recite countless metaphors concerning Gith and Zerthaman. The importance of the shards is that once recast into a blade, it is likely to have the power to harm the King of Shadows, and as such is vital to our quest? I do not know. Perhaps their extraplanar origin is what makes the King of Shadows vulnerable to them. There may be some secret in their creation that is unknown to me that may make them effective as well. Regardless, the King of Shadows is vulnerable to them, and to the Sword of Gith most of all.
I have placed the location on your map. Note that he is no longer bound in flesh and blood. If the dragon still lives, he is only a spirit, nothing more.
Nevertheless, like me, he is one of the only ones to fight the King of Shadows and survive. He may know of some means to help us now. He may bear no love for the races of Farron, but the King of Shadows, for him, he bears much hatred indeed. If we phrase our request with some humility, I think we can convince Nololoth to aid us. Disdain! I hardly consider her worthy of emotion at all. She is a blind follower, an adherent of her own people's history. There is blindness in such things. But your feelings on her presence are clear, as are mine. There is little more to be said. What of her people? Where are they against this threat? We need allies who understand our enemy, yet her people do nothing. The people of Farron are ignorant of the King of Shadows, yes, but her people are not. Yes, that is true. She has insights that we may not, and if nothing else, is an extra target for those who seek to harm us. Indeed, such a noble view. But she is but one. If that was your only intent with the question, very well. Perhaps I was overly harsh. I thought you sought to defend her, which is unwarranted, especially when so many questions surround her and her involvement in this war. And neither do I. A question she could ask, perhaps, before we all lie dead at the King of Shadows' hands. Indeed. And why is that? And again I ignore politics in my haste to do battle. I had thought that perhaps because they were not tied to Farron and the courts of Neverwinter, the people of Gith would have a broader view. But I forget the unreasoning hatred of the Githyanki. The fear of such a division in battle should the Githzerai join the conflict. There is wisdom in such a decision. No, there is not. It is a question I myself was forced to struggle with in the courts of Neverwinter. There is much lost with such a decision. But there is more to be lost if one does not make such a break with politics and laws and do what must be done. That is the decision we all made. And the truth of such a decision is that in having made it, we are the only ones who can act. Do not defend her overmuch. There is more she could do. And her people's involvement in this conflict could be more than it is. There is a time to be a follower and a time to lead. We all must make that choice, especially when all of our lives are at stake. I suspect you may be right. And it was fear that prevented Neverwinter from acting so long ago. There is much lost with such a decision. But there is more to be lost if one does not make such a break with politics and laws and do what must be done. How any of my kin managed to survive is a mystery to me. It seems the Jerro line is more resilient than I thought. But yes, I thought the Jerro line had been ended in the war with the King of Shadows. During the battles that waged near the Mare, near Highcliff, there was so much chaos, I thought what remained of my family was lost. Now they truly are. Some secrets I must have. But suffice to say that there are eyes throughout the plains that see more than I. I see little harm in telling you now. I think there is some measure of trust between us. And if the blade is lost again, then you may need to seek the same sources as I. The lower plains have watched since evil existed. And since before Gith led her rebellion against the Mind Flayers. And when Gith had achieved victory, it is known she went to the lower plains to seek allies, and did not return. Yes, and one such set of eyes, a Beatazu prince known as the Still Lord, sees much indeed. He lies imprisoned in the lower plains, and he can do little more than watch from his cage. And so I sought him. And he was able to reveal to me the location of the blade. There was a price, yes, but it was a price I was willing to pay, and it was little more than I had already paid for the service of my other infernal allies. In fact, it is through the Still Lord that I gained the allegiance of Mephazum. For while the Still Lord may not move freely, Mephazum may, perhaps. But defeating the King of Shadows was my goal, and I needed the blade. But that is all. With that knowledge, I was able to find the blade and carry on the war. No, Gith and her blade had become separated. Gith's fate remains a mystery to me, and I did not ask the Still Lord where she walks now. That is a long tale. Some pieces of the tale I gave when we escaped, but there is more, yes. As you probably already know, the King of Shadows was once a creation, a guardian of Ilfan. By tapping into the power of the Weave, the source of all magic in Faerun, Ilfan sought to make an invincible protector to shield its borders. Yes, Ilfan's enemies, the Netherese, in their quest for power ended up disrupting the Weave. The Guardian relied on the Weave to sustain itself. Without it, it was forced to seek another source of power in order to continue to protect Ilfan. It found a darker source of magic, the Shadow Weave, and tapping into it, transformed the Guardian of Ilfan into something else. The King of Shadows. A man, perhaps. Who it was, I was never able to determine. But whoever it was, he was willing to give up himself to protect his empire. Give up his sense of self, his identity. It is no small sacrifice. There is a certain sympathy I have for such a man. For someone willing to make that choice. Perhaps he saw the rightness of his actions, and there was no way to see what harm would come from it. He cast away his family, his ties to his people, and he ended up suffering for it while attempting to save them. Such a motivation is not hard to understand. Even more now, to see the King of Shadows reviled for what he has done, and knowing that at its core, he sought only to protect the people under his care. Now, its people are gone, and even knowing its failure, it still seeks to protect its empire and, most importantly, itself. If it frees itself, it will seek to destroy anything that threatens it. You first, then I. Then it will destroy all civilization on the Sword Coast where its former empire lay. And from then on, I do not know what it will do. But the coast shall become as the mare is now, lifeless. Its only people raised from the dead to become the shades of the new Ilfan Empire. When the time is right, I will show you, not before. Part of power comes in knowing when to keep it a secret, and sharing it only with those you trust. The ritual I have gained seems to allow me to create a web of light. Should the King of Shadows split his form into many shadows, such a web is useful. Any shadow spawned from him that enters it will be caged, unable to get out. While such a power has a limited use outside his fortress, it will be necessary for us to beat him. It may seem that way, but I believe the closer we get to the King of Shadows, the more use we will get out of them. Here, now, we may only be able to use them once every day before their power is expended. The closer we get to our enemy, we may be able to use them much more, and with a greater effect. Yes, I imagine the history books have little to say on the matter, aside from my many misdeeds, which is how I wished it.
The Jerro family was once part of the highest nobility of Neverwinter. When growing up, I displayed a certain aptitude for magic, especially the magic tied to the lower planes.
With little training, I was able to do spells well beyond my years, and well beyond any training I received in the academies and elsewhere.
Gain it. With the lower planes, the power is always there. It just needs a focus and the will to control it.
In my case, it did not take long to master that power. The greater discipline came in using it sparingly so that few could see. Yes, you will find that where magic is concerned, one school of thought rarely knows the full range of the art. One should never limit themselves to one teacher, lest they cripple their studies before they are begun. When one displays such power, it does not grant you freedom. It becomes a cage and makes you a target. You will be constantly beset by the problems of others, who will see your power as an excuse to compensate for the lack of theirs. That is never a position I want to be in, nor a philosophy I wish to encourage in others. Nevertheless, I displayed enough talent to be accepted by the Neverwinter court, to be the jester mage. To make my intentions plain, it was a position of convenience and opportunity, one of many. The position allowed me to obtain access to many of the secrets of the Neverwinter, as well as free access to the Academy libraries, their vaults, and the court records. Also, I thought that perhaps my position might give me a greater voice when attempting to convince others of threats that beset us. But that proved to be an ill-founded conclusion. Oh yes, I had several teachers. Many are dead now through unfortunate circumstances, but not by my hand, I assure you. I sought teaching not only in Neverwinter and Waterdeep, but also across the plains from infernal allies, and even from the Arcane Brotherhood in Luskan. Yes, provided one can stomach their politics, they have a vast library of knowledge to draw upon. And I also wish to study their workings from within, in case I needed to defeat them one day. If one keeps the proper perspective and never shows weakness, well, suffice to say there is much that can be learned. Only when one solely listens to the lower planes does it cause blindness of purpose. Oddly enough, it was by walking these dark paths that I saw the greater threats we faced. Shadows were growing stronger around the Mayor of the Dead Men. This was due to the growing power of the King of Shadows. I attempted to warn the court of Neverwinter of this, but they were too busy vying for power and holding blades to each other's throats to listen. So I sought allies elsewhere, amongst demons and devils, and even the Githyanki, and I used all the power I had, which was considerable. And by waging a war, by the nature of my allies, I became something others feared. I even gained the name of my enemy, as you proved when you first encountered me in my haven. To think you believed me to be our mutual enemy. The irony runs deep, indeed. Was I ever fighting you? All I recall is you tripping across my path and my servants. Perhaps if you had sought another means to make your intentions known, we could have coordinated our efforts and none of this need ever have happened. Then we are agreed on the matter. Regardless, that is behind us now. We now know the truth. We must cooperate to succeed. Of course I blame you. Is it? Perhaps some perspective will enlighten you. You trampled like a fool child through ruins and libraries, disrupting my search, disrupting my goals. You should have stayed out of affairs you had no knowledge of. Indeed. And for the sake of amusement, perhaps you can tell me what you would have done. Is that all you have to say? Your opinion is your own, and a shallow one at that, so keep it to yourself. I concede there is some truth in what you say, but my actions, in light of Neverwinter's view on my goals, I believe were perfectly understandable. Still, you have given me something to think about. Is that all you have to say? Your opinion is your own, and a shallow one at that, so keep it to yourself. I have only recently escaped my imprisonment in the lower planes. And since then, I have fought to re-establish my stronghold and gather my forces, which you have ruined with your carelessness. Let us simply say I had help in the matter, and leave it for another time. It has no bearing on our present situation. Let us leave it for another time. It has no bearing on our present situation. I had assistance from the Arcane Brotherhood, of all organizations. One among them sought information on the King of Shadows and freed me, but they were careless, and I was easily able to slip free of them once summoned. From there, I was also able to rectify certain injustices in Neverwinter as well, before beginning my campaign against the King of Shadows anew. A man named Black Garius summoned me. A man I suspect you already have some history with. I think he sought some means by which to control the King of Shadows. A foolish quest, but he has no doubt already paid the price for such a goal. The lower planes has many cells and many agonies. At the close of the war against the King of Shadows, I was cast there. Not yet dead, but soon wishing that I was. Fortunately, in those infernal prisons I gained strength and tolerance for pain. He is a Beatazu, And his lies are only that, lies. I have allied myself with many of the lower planes throughout my life, and yes, we have had dealings before. Through him I was able to achieve my goals, and learn mysteries long sought lost, especially those concerning the Sword of Gith. No, at times I thought I was fighting for my family. But I fought because it was the right thing to do. This useless tracking through old memories has no bearing on our current quest. Let us focus on the present, not what or why I did things in the past. Perhaps not. It is as if what I believed is now made truth, so there should be no feeling of loss. But there is. I cannot deny it and lie to myself by doing so. But my mission, the King of Shadows, had to be stopped. But that some of my blood had survived because of what I did. It is a new thought. I thought I had lost them all, and now I wonder what their lives were like. I did not wish to kill her, you know. I would have liked to have known her. But there is truth in what you say. It is my own words given back to me. Thank you for such counsel. Let us not speak of the Jerro line anymore. When I die, it shall die with me, as I have long believed, and as it should have been long ago. It was one of the reasons I was able to fight as I did. Such deaths, the severing of family ties, gives one a certain freedom of action. I would like that, I see. It seems she lived much in the short time left to her. I thank you for sharing her experiences with me. If time permits, I may go see this farm of hers, and see if anything else remains. Why do I wish to stop the King of Shadows? Perhaps this is a question you should ask yourself, since your motivation in all of this has been unclear from the start. Really? Then let us speak plainly on this. Does he threaten you specifically? Do you feel that the Sword Coast cast beneath shadow would be an unwelcome thing? All life turned to death and ghosts? Or perhaps you would simply sleep better at night, knowing that a twisted remnant of the Ilfarn Empire was as dead and buried as they are. Perhaps I underestimated you, and your resolve, indeed. And after a near lifetime of dealing with the pompous nobles of Neverwinter's court, I think you will find your lies are as transparent to me as glass. I see. At least you are honest. And to me, you are the lesser of two evils. At least that is a guaranteed motivation, and one difficult to escape from. Very well. I think you will find we are of the same opinion on the matter, though I suspect our methods differ. I wish to stop the King of Shadows because he is a threat to not only the people of Neverwinter, but to the Sword Coast and Farron itself. That is all, and while simple, it is the truth. Despite whatever onus has been placed on my actions, desperate measures were required to stop him the first time, and will be again. More can be saved as a result, and that is all that matters now. Yes, an unpopular idea for anyone who does not truly see the threat to this plane. That is the first piece of wisdom I have encountered from someone in Neverwinter's service for some time. And that, Captain, is why you will need me in the times ahead, and why I will bear your presence for now. Let our enemies fall before us! This shall not last long. From fire they are born, to fire they shall go. I think these ones deserve a taste of the hells. I require healing. I need help over here. It seems our foes are limitless. We must retreat. Pathetic. Shield me! Everyone, stand your ground! Ah! 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 My power is diminishing. I am no more. I am poisoned. I need to be cured. My spell failed. I am not harming this one. All of you, follow me. I have discovered something here. Everyone, circle me. Out of my way. This lock needs to be picked. We should watch for any secrets to reveal themselves. We should use the shadows to cloak us. We need to remain hidden. I can do that. I cannot do that. It is done. I am carrying too much to move. What is it? Welcome. Yes. No. We need to stop for a moment. We should rest. Why we waste time here is not known to me. Farewell. Thank you. Ha 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 ha. Filthy hellspawn. Ha! We shall triumph yet! I need to speak with you at once. Good idea. I think that is a poor idea. Perhaps you need a taste of the hells to teach you your place.
All right. I mean, I know I haven't been around you as much as, say, Kelgar Idiot Fist.
Hey!
Calm down. Monks aren't supposed to get sensitive about things like that.
Well, Iron Fist monks are. We have our pride.
I think I need you to explain to me one more time what we're doing. We're being hunted and accused, put on trial, and you've got silver things in you.
Shards.
Yeah, shards. I got it, Sand. Thanks.
I derive pleasure from clarification, Miss Jerro.
Anyway, with all that's been going on, I'm not sure I understand why it's been going on. Well, first off, the shards in you. Sorry, the shard in you and the shards you carry. Where do they come from? What are they shards of?
No, it is the Sword of Gith, the weapon that united and divided the Githzerai and the Githyanki.
So what do those Githyanki want with you? Are they with the King of Shadows?
Know that they seek the Sword of Gith for their own. It is a sacred thing, and they will not rest until it is back in their possession.
This is the most bizarre series of events I've ever heard.
Not me.
Not now, Grobnar.
All right.
Whoever you are, you don't look much like a farmer to me. Any reason why you're gracing me with your presence?
Is there a reason he should? You don't look worth it.
Nishka.
Well, it's just the truth. And she asked.
Maybe you all better tell me what you're doing here. There's been too many visitors lately, and I really don't have the patience for it anymore. Whoever you are, you look a little too important to be wandering out here on your own, bothering with the common folk.
I'll say, we've gone too far out of our way already.
Not too far for a fight, I hope.
You think I'm brave to stay here? Foolish is more like it.
I don't know about that. I'm braver than she is.
A few months back, I don't know where they've all come from, but suddenly they're swarming all over the place.
A few months ago. These tribes may have been driven here from the mare. Tribes of lizard folk have left the mare recently. And I don't think it's by choice. Something's driving them out. From the looks of it, they may be ranging farther and farther in search of food.
I have a feeling it's going to be a rough season ahead, and they're not making things any better.
Looks like this is the place. But where's...
There's lots from the war still buried around here. Some farmers can't take a plow to some fields without turning over an old weapon or two. But that's not what has me worried.
I thought I felt something. It's in the ground beneath my feet. Traces of it, anyway.
William? Actually, yes, I did. And he didn't stop when I called to him. He looked frightened. Kept looking back as he ran. I just thought Junie had sent him on some errand. She pushes him a little hard sometimes, but he lets it happen, so I don't have much sympathy. No one's been killed, luckily enough. Mostly buildings and houses have been burned, but no deaths.
That's strange. I would have thought the lizard folk would have tried to kill the farmers first. They tend to, eat people, from what I've heard.
Shedding the blood of another tribe is different in lizard folk culture, while destroying objects and homes is more, well, territorial is the best way to put it.
It is done. But know that we have only bought time, not achieved victory. We have only driven it off. It will return, as it said, and there will be more. No, we must find the one the Reaver spoke of, the one who completed the ritual. We will need their aid to defeat the King of Shadows. No, but we do not need to. We should return to Crossroad Keep, to the Lore Keeper who was imprisoned there with me, Aldenon.
Oh, that's going to be a big help.
He knows much of Neverwinter, and he may know more than we of where to find some trace of Ammon Jerro.
But that could be anyone. We don't even know who that is. I can't believe we came all this way for nothing.
Nothing. Know that we have completed 4 parts of the ritual. We have learned another holds the 5th. And most importantly, we know that our enemy fears our plans.
I know. I just feel like we should do something.
Know that this road is at an end, but time may have opened other roads to us. There is hope. You must believe it. Know that we have 2 weapons against the King of Shadows. The ritual in all its parts, and a fully forged sword of the Githyanki. We will need the sword no matter what transpires. Let us pursue that path, and perhaps the second path shall be revealed to us. Whoever completed the ritual did so for a reason. and that reason means they will be searching for us. Know that the intention of completing the ritual says more than it may seem. Whoever has done this has done so to hurt the King of Shadows, and to do that, they will need a silver sword just as we do. Ammon Jerro knew much of the Githyanki silver swords. Finding his haven and recovering the knowledge of those swords is the only step we may take on this path now.
I heard he was an eccentric but humble wizard, but he died a long time ago. What's he got to do with this whole mess? I never met him. My mother told me she knew him as a young child. She said that Jerro would cradle her and sing to her, and she would pull at his beard.
Tell your mother to keep her distance from me, lass.
Mother said he would cradle me and sing to me, and I would pull out his beard hairs.
Just keep your distance from me, lass.
Not all of us wanted you here. Trust me. I'm just sorry you're here. Yeah, and after that, you can be silent for as long as you want and find some other inn to shack up at.
Shandra, we realize this is difficult, but your life may be in danger. And I swear to you, we are trying to protect you, not make more trouble for you.
Oh, all right, sorry. Guess the whole thing's hard to take all at once.
A little paladin charm sure calmed her quick.
But what could I know that's so important?
That was not our intention, Shandra. Please, hear us out.
Well, if you think I'm going to some dark dungeon that used to give me nightmares, well, think again.
What? Oh, I mean, all right. Is she sleeping here too?
Perhaps we should retire. We all could use the rest. Shandra, I believe Duncan has rooms upstairs.
I do.
Oh, thanks for the hospitality. Cassavir, right? I appreciate it.
Of course, you have been through a great deal. It is the least we can offer.
That I can offer, he means. My inn, you know. Always eager to help a lass in distress we are, here at the Sunken Flagon.
Oh, there'll be plenty of time for you to pay all of us on the way back to Neverwinter.
You all put me in danger. I'm not paying you a single coin.
Oh, then you'll be paying me another way. My bedroll's a little cold at night. I'm thinking you can fix that.
That is the most disgusting thing I have ever heard.
I won't have you speaking to her or anyone else that way, Bishop.
Maybe you'd best shut your mouth, Ranger. Your words are starting to anger me.
Oh, really? What a surprise. How'd you like it if I left you here in Luskan territory with your righteousness to keep you company?
If threats are the only currency by which you can get such things, then I pity you, Bishop.
I could always set you on fire, Bishop. That'd solve 2 problems.
You wound me, girl. Or is that jealousy I hear? Don't worry, I'll get to you soon enough.
Oh, please. The smell would kill me first.
You wound me, girl. Don't worry, I'll get to you soon enough. Quick to defend the farm girl, I see, and not hard to see why from the look of her.
Her? What about me?
And I as well. I am certain, although it was unspoken.
But perhaps my words were ill-chosen, just like this journey. Now that we have our precious little treasure, shall we go?
Our presence is now known to the guardians of this place. Let us prepare ourselves.
You'd think whoever set that alarm could have made it a little quieter.
Well, looks like we walked into another ambush.
Ah, that would be the alarm. No doubt warning the inhabitants that there are intruders that need to be violently dispatched.
Huh? Don't like the sound of that.
That would be the alarm. Sneaking around from now on will be a little more difficult.
What is that? An alarm?
My, that sound sure is pervasive. And with such a high tempo, too. But I don't quite recognize the tune.
We must have tripped a mage's ward. Be on your guard.
Why, you have brought gifts. You carry the shards, and one is even lodged inside you. Interesting. Let me take them off your hands, and from your corpse. You and your allies are stronger than I anticipated. But I will bear these indignities no longer. This entire sanctuary is my weapon. All who are trapped here fuel my power. I can harness the energies of this place, bind them to me. I can summon flame from the walls, turn the air in your lungs to fire. And you, You are nothing more than leaves caught in a storm. Did you really think you could face me here and survive? You think you have won? You are fools! The Haven, it is the source of my power!
Tell me he did not just run from us. Oh, he's really making me mad.
Know that we must follow that one. If not, he will bring ruin upon us and this plane.
He's just lucky I didn't beat him when he was tossing me around and snapping my ribs. Oh, I say let's go after him. Pay him back, eh?
Did any of you get tossed around like I did? Wow! It felt just like the time I got swept up in that hurricane off the Sword Coast!
If that is Ammon Jerro, we need to capture him or stop him. If not, he will return and he will not spare us a second time.
Look, I don't want to fight that sorcerer again. But if he hits us with that same level of power again, we're done for. We need to stop him.
We need to track him down and kill him now. Never let a wounded mage escape.
If he escapes, we will have to fight him again, and he will be better prepared. We must pursue him.
We need to pursue him. If he gets away, he may gather his power again.
It can't be him. It makes no sense. How did he survive? Where has he been and why, after all this time?
Do such questions matter when death is so close at hand? The wizard they face is Blood of Jerro. It knows this.
You're lying.
Shandra, even you know the truth can wound more than any lie.
I won't do what you want. There's another way. There has to be.
Of course there is. But the only other way is letting its friends die here, now. It feels it. The lives of those others are about to be snuffed out. In moments, the decision of Shandra of Jerro will matter not, and Ammon Jerro will have this day.
What do I need to do?
It already knows the Blood of Jerro allows free travel in this place, so it can travel easily to each one caged. But if it wishes to set us free, shedding of Jerro blood is all that is needed. As for those you travel with, reach out to them. Feel them die.
You can't beat him. The only way to do it is to free the demons. They're granting all his power. There's a way to stop him, but it's going to require some blood being spilt. Mine. There's no way I'm letting you die. Not after all we've been through.
Oh my, and what is this delightful little present? Oh my dear, you've cut yourself. Now why would you do such a thing?
Zexus is free! Zexus will tear you limb from limb, Jerro! Then stitch you back together into new shapes with your own sinew. And after that, Zexus will cut you and wear your hollowed-out skin on my talons like a glove.
Yes, you are almost done. This pain will soon end, and your sacrifice will save the...
What you have done is brave, but foolish, Shandra Jerro.
This is the end for you. I will bury your bodies in the walls of this place and leave you to... What have you done? No! Every circle broken, and without me knowing it being done. How?
Ah, Jerro, just in time to see my departure. I did so want to see your face as I slipped from your grasp.
You. Who has done this? I must know.
By your own blood betrayed, Jerro. I would stay and savor your imminent death if I could, but I have already tasted your bloodline, and such a sweet, noble thing it is.
Betrayed. But I still have the power to stop it. There is still time. You, girl! You did this!
My friends. Are they...
Your friends live! But you will not! You destroyed my summoning circles! You set the deadliest creatures in the lower realms free! You have weakened me! And in so doing, you have earned death.
I know, Grandfather. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Grandfather, what is this?
It is truth, Ammon, and by such truths is one damned.
I have no kin. All were killed in the war against the King of Shadows. It's not possible.
Blood finds a way, Ammon, always.
You lie!
You know only Jerro blood could have broken the circles in this haven, as her blood has now broken mine. There are laws, Jerro, and when one carries such laws too far, they will take you where I go now.
Me phasm.
This feels wrong. Even within this place, this sorcerer does not feel like our adversary.
This one has been defeated. But no, it is not the King of Shadows.
Looks like you're not so tough after all. King of Shadows, my tail.
Something does not ring true here. This sorcerer, he cannot be the King of Shadows.
Something's wrong. Look, this guy's got power, and a lot of it, but...
Perhaps the campaign of the King of Shadows has weakened his power. This was much less difficult than I expected.
I kind of expected more of a fight. It can't be this easy.
I'm sorry, but Shandra, please get up. You see, we've won, really. We've come all this way to save you, and we got here just in time. Haven't we?
He killed Shandra. Let's gut him.
His powers are weak. I say we take advantage of it.
No. There is no telling what his death could do to this place. Even with the demons gone, it is still tied to him.
Get up, you cowardly dog! Face us!
His will has been broken by his own hands. His threat to us is over.
Shandra, her life. I can't even feel it. It's gone.
I say we kill him. Do to him what he did to her.
We should be cautious. Even with the demons gone, this place is still tied to him.
If he does not surrender, we will fight. It is his choice.